The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Lifeguard Imaging.
Coming up on Bloom, meet an entrepreneur taking the business world by storm who's here to help you level up.
So you have to invest in yourself and you have to do something you're passionate about. And that typically lines up with an amazing opportunity for a business. I think a lot of people miss that. They don't see where they're curious, what they're interested in.
Plus, how to level up your weight loss journey. And how the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is helping younger adults level up in life. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, a full hour dedicated to your health and wellness, so get ready to bloom. Today we are helping you level up your life, whether it's work, relationships, or even your health. We're going to help you take your life to the next level. Biohacking fans and doctors alike say it's important to get out of the box when it comes to your health care and take advantage of cutting-edge technology. And in Tampa Bay, we're the lucky ones, one of only 5 places in the country where you have access to a 3D scan that can detect hundreds of different cancers and heart disease in their earliest stages. In fact, Lifeguard Imaging was just voted best of the best in the category of diagnostic imaging by the Tampa Bay Times, and probably because of life-saving stories like the one you're about to hear. Joining me now is heart attack survivor David Henning and the Vice President of Business Development at Lifeguard Imaging, NFL great and former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Martin Gramatica. Gentlemen, it's great to see you both.
Good to see you, Gayle.
Good to be here.
So David, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, a few years ago I had a massive cardiac arrest. You know, doctor said it's a widowmaker, and it should have killed me, but it didn't. And because I didn't have any symptoms or anything, they didn't know it was coming. I actually had a long hospital stay. I had a week in the ICU, a couple weeks in the major hospital, several weeks of rehab. It took me a long time to recover from it. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for all the preventative care. Because if I had gone in, gotten screened, checked out, I would have gone into the hospital, probably an overnight procedure, had a couple stents put in, and I would have been normal just a few days later.
You know, I want to talk to you about the time lost away from your life, because, you know, there was just an article in the Wall Street Journal. More doctors are getting behind these preventative scans. And, you know, people think, well, that's the money out of pocket. But the money out of pocket and the time lost when you are hit with something like this can be catastrophic.
Absolutely. Money out of pocket. Just look at my hospital bill, for example. It was over $300,000. You know, so what's a couple $100s to get preventative care, get something caught early, and, you know, as opposed to spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, plus rehab, loss of income, and so many other things that could happen. I mean, I was out of work, you know, I couldn't work for several months.
Yeah, and Martin, you and I talk about this all the time, Lifeguard Imaging, and by the way, congratulations on the accolades from the St. Petersburg, you know, Times. This is the Tampa Bay Times. I'm old school, I've been here forever. The Tampa Bay Times. You're best of the best, and people come in for the free heart screening, but then you're going to talk to them about the full body scan.
Yes, and for us, the patient's the number one, and that's the way we want them to feel, because everybody has a little bit of anxiety. So for us, it's a great honor to be named best of the best, especially in the Bay, especially with all the imaging and hospitals that we have in the area, because we want our patients to feel comfortable. So when they do come in for the free heart scan, we're going to explain. They're going to meet with a patient advocate, and they're going to explain not only what the full body scan does, because we're scanning from the neck to the pelvis and creating a 3D image, but also the legacy program, because we tell our patients, you know, the baseline scan is super important, because I have not met in 2 years anybody that has had a full body scan prior to the patients that came a year ago to come for their second scan. So we're going to give them so much information about the inside of their bodies, but usually the follow-up scans are more important, because if anything were to develop, that's when we're going to catch it early. And patients have a higher chance to survive it, but also with good quality of life. And we talk about Cindy, when she came on with Ernie, she avoided the chemo, and that's huge, because the disease is horrible, but the treatment is equally as bad, if not worse at times. So avoiding that chemo, and it's huge. So that's why we're screening and we're doing our scans every year to catch things early.
Yeah, I have met, David, so many people like yourself that ones though that went to Lifeguard Imaging and found the heart disease, found the cancer before it was too late, and you were one of the lucky ones. You survived your heart attack, but had you known about Lifeguard Imaging, would you have gone, and what would you tell other people out there watching today?
Oh, I would have absolutely gone. My heart attack came a week before my 50th birthday. So I'm right in that age group where preventative care is super important. If I would have gone in for just regular routine care and they caught this, it would have been massive. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate of this. I would be in there getting checked all day, every day, because it's so much easier to treat something before it becomes fully blown than it is after.
And you know, it's hard to get guys to go to get their checkups. That's why my husband and I both, and that's the one thing I can get my husband Mark to do, is to go to Lifeguard Imaging as part of the Legacy program, because you know, it's tough to get you guys in for the regular screenings.
Oh yeah, I would tell all the guys out there, your ego is not your amigo.
I like that.
You know?
That's a good one. I like that.
We're going to make a t-shirt right there.
Yeah, I like that. Your ego is not your amigo. So Lifeguard Imaging, we appreciate everything that you do. Congratulations again on the accolades, and thank you for sharing your powerful story.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Call today, right now, 813-582-5222, or visit lifeguardimaging.com. You will receive a Bloom special offer, a free heart scan when you mention Gayle or Bloom. That's a $599 value. So call today, 813-582-5222 for this special offer. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Lifeguard Imaging.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call me right now. The IRS is the most relentless collection agency in America. They have the power to legally take everything you own. Home, paycheck, autos, any asset you have. So what do? Call me now. My team of experts can help you keep your money. We have programs that can significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe, even payment plans that now stretch out for months. We can also stop collection calls, wage garnishments, and remove tax liens. So if you owe the IRS a lot of money and you want to keep it, don't wait. Call the tax man right now.
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
Welcome back to Bloom. Our next guest knows all about reinventing herself, leveling up, and reaching her goals. Joining us now is entrepreneur Ivy Childers, founder of Southbound Tequila. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I love your backstory. You actually went from launching a bakery business to now a growing tequila brand.
Yeah, so I created over 40 different cake flavor combinations for Ivy Cake. And you know, once you get up and running with the bakery, my role changed. I was, you know, hiring people, training people, keeping quality control going. And so my creativity that I started the business with just, you know, wasn't as much part of the day-to-day. So I would come home from those long, busy days at the bakery, and I would unwind by creating cocktail recipes. And so I was constantly tweaking my cocktail recipes, loved tequila so much. That was my spirit of choice, and I was constantly trying new brands. And it finally dawned on me one day that it wasn't the balance in my cocktail mixes, it was the tequila. And so, you know, I did sell my business, Ivy Cake. It's still thriving in Nashville, which I'm so proud of it. I sold it in 2019 to new ownership, and as I was looking at a new business venture, I realized I wanted to learn more about tequila and figure out what profile it was I was looking for, and took a journey southbound to Jalisco, Mexico, and leaned into the experts, and that is how Southbound Tequila started.
And I think it's important to point out to people watching, because so many people want to level up. They want to try something new. They want to go on a new path in life. Yeah. You really get on the path. I mean, you are out there tasting and meeting people. You're a very hands-on entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I want to say there is that, you know, I think a lot of people, they looked at my bakery, they look at what I'm doing now, and it looks really glamorous. It looks like, oh my goodness, you know, this is amazing, but oh my, for 10 years, over 10 years, I was working many jobs. I have a very colorful resume. I mean, I was working so many jobs that were not inspiring to me, but I was investing in myself while I was off the clock. I was going home, I was creating, and that opened up the path for me to have a business venture. And so I was doing the same thing with creating the cocktail recipes. So you have to invest in yourself, and you have to do something you're passionate about, and that typically lines up with an amazing opportunity for a business. I think a lot of people miss that. They don't see where they're curious, what they're interested in. They think they have to be good at something and it's overnight. You just have to be interested in something and put the work in, and that's where the doors open.
I think what's also interesting as well, creating this tequila brand, it was very important for you, like you almost like you would have a signature note of a perfume. You wanted a signature taste.
Yes.
And that didn't come easy either.
Yeah, when I was getting my hands on different brands, I was tasting really sweet forward profiles. That didn't mix in well for cocktails. I didn't enjoy sipping that. And so that's what really led me down the path of, I want to learn more about these profiles. It really came down to learning from the experts the agaves that they come from. So it's obviously blue agave, but there are two different regions, and one's going to produce a more pepper forward herbaceous note. The other one's going to be more fruit forward. Well, I needed it to be heavier on that profile where it was more pepper forward herbaceous with just a small hint of the fruit forward. So I couldn't find that profile out there, so I'm so excited to offer that and also support that home entertainer that wants to learn how to make cocktails at home.
I love that.
That's where I get to have the fun.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, more and more people are entertaining at home and wanting to learn to craft their cocktails. I also want to talk about, because here on Bloom, we love to introduce our viewers to women doing exciting things, and you really are navigating a man's world, because I've talked to people in the women, you know, trying to break in the wine world, alcohol. It's predominantly men.
Yeah, less than 5% of tequila brand owners are female. Less than 5%. The category is so big. There's space for a female perspective. It's really cool to show up in a male-dominant category and like have a shot at success. Bring my point of view, and I think that, you know, there's room for that.
Shot, pun intended. I love it. And so how has that been like? How are you received?
Yeah, I think, you know, really what I'm bringing to the table is the category can be confusing. I did all the research. Now I'm bringing in tequila. You don't have to be confused. You know that it's an incredible cocktail companion. It's also a great sipper. Something that I could not find for myself, I'm bringing that to the table. But also people want to have an elevated cocktail. They want to have a beautiful bottle that isn't taking up all the space in the room, but it's beautiful on the counter. Those are the elements I'm bringing to the table with Southbound.
Any parting words for folks out there watching that want to level up whatever their dream is and that they want to do? Yeah,
success doesn't happen overnight. Keep investing in yourself. Find out what you're interested in and do the work, do the research, whether it's soap or finance, or figure out what's going on and what you're interested in, and keep consistency in investing in yourself, and you will align with an opportunity. And you did find that balance, because you did have a job to pay the bills while you were focusing on your real dreams. Yeah, that was the part that I had to do those things. Nothing can happen overnight, so you have to do that work. Sometimes it's in jobs you don't love, but you have to pay your bills. But believing in yourself and knowing you're meant for something bigger, keep that going. Keep that the reason why you come back to yourself and align with what ignites you. Brilliant advice. What a pleasure it is to meet you, and congratulations on all your successes in life. Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. All right, we're going to share Ivy's story on BloomTampaBay.com, and we will be back with more Bloom right after this, so don't go away. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by LinFit Nutrition.
If you're trying to level up your weight loss to get rid of that belly fat, our next guest can help. Joining us now to talk about nutrients that can melt belly fat fast is metabolic weight loss and fitness expert Lisa Lynn, the founder of LinFit Nutrition, who is best known as Martha Stewart's trainer for 18 years. It's so great to see you, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
So I didn't realize this, but the #1 most Googled question is, what are the best nutritional supplements when it comes to burning belly fat?
It's still the #1 question we get, no matter how many times I talk about it. What do I have to do to get rid of belly fat? Which is a really good question because people don't realize how dangerous it is. And I don't need any tests or blood tests to figure out what's going on with people's health. All I have to do is get my body fat calipers out. No disrespect, because I had a big wad like this on my stomach, spitting out hormones, making our blood sugar erratic, making us moody, making us hungry, and yet we don't attack it when we try to lose weight.
So talk to me about your system, because I've been following you long before I started hosting Bloom, and people turn to you for a safe, fast way to lose weight.
And in today's world, everybody's turning to these trendy new drugs that they're being told you don't have to change your diet. And out of desperation, I get it. I've been there, being 40 pounds. But what people don't realize is when you blend the right super nutrients together, they're more effective than drugs. In fact, they're sometimes how those drugs are originally created. So just to give you an idea, when it comes to burning belly fat, our bodies don't run on calories, they run on nutrients. So it's really crucial, if you're fasting, you need nutrients, that you keep them coming in. If you're overeating, your body still needs nutrients. What I do is, this is one of my favorite supplements, you and I were just talking about it, called, I have Keto Carb Edge and Cutting Edge. Both of them are 100% natural. But yet when you put them together, this Keto Carb Edge has the white kidney bean extract you saw on Dr. Oz. It was a big buzzword that trick your body into burning fat, lower blood sugar. There's over 26 nutrients in here by itself. When you pair it with L-carnitine, that has celery root, asparagus extract, among 26 others, as well as L-carnitine, what it does is, this is a little ounce of fat. It pulls it into the mitochondria and forces it, like kindling does for a fire, to start burning.
That's amazing.
And you want that.
And we have the proof that this works. I want to take a look at some before and after images. Here's a look at Sarah. Tell us about her.
11 pounds, by the way, in a little, maybe 2 weeks, which, if you're asking, well, what does that have to do? I have 30 to lose. If it can work on someone for 11, or our next before and after, Randy, who lost 10, he wanted to lose belly fat. He was fasting, he was eating keto, and he was stuck. By the way, his cholesterol and blood sugar were high doing keto and fasting. We switched it by cleaning up his diet to a clean keto and incorporating super nutrients. So morning, have a Cutting Edge and a Keto Carb Edge, one of each. Hit it again at lunch, and then at dinner I had them do a raspberry ketone cleanse and restore. What is it? Fiber, natural botanicals, digestive enzymes. So there's nothing that's harmful. In fact, you can live on these, jump-starting the fat loss process. And when you do it, your cholesterol goes down, your heart is protected, your gut health is improved, your joints, you have less pain, and you have more energy.
All right, let's look at Brittany, because I can't get enough of the before and afters.
This one is a really good one, by the way. In fact, kicked diabetes to the curb, pre-diabetes.
Wow.
She was fasting, starving herself. I put her back on food, the protein shake, you've heard me, and these super nutrients. So 3 different stories, but each of them needed this. I will say she was so stressed, Brittany, that we added one of my favorite thyroid boost, because her thyroid was slow because she was fasting so long, and she needed the adaptogenic for stress. So I added that to the mix safely, just to help balance and regulate her system, all with nutrients.
I love it. I ordered so much of this. I have it everywhere, at the refrigerator at work, the refrigerator at home.
Under
It's
the
everywhere.
tongue. Yeah.
It's everywhere. Lisa, it's always such a pleasure
Thanks
to see
for
you.
having me.
All right, if you are ready to lose weight, melt off that belly fat, and take back control over your health, follow LinFit on social media at LinFit Nutrition and visit their website, linfit.com. Save 30% off the LinFit Quick Keto Metabolic Stack and get a free thyroid boost when you enter code BURNFAST while supplies last. Bloom will be right back.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by LinFit Nutrition.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new, clinically proven Legzercise Pro. the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
After using Lasercise for a week, I felt like I wanted to go for a walk again without pain like I used to.
Lasercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
It's helped with the swelling and the pain. The tingling feeling is gone.
Call right now and order your very own Lasercise Pro, the clinically proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Welcome back to Bloom's Level Up Edition. Here to help you up your game by changing your self-image is holistic life coach Josh Valentine. Josh, it's always so great to see you.
Always great being here, Gayle.
So Josh, when you talk about changing your self-image, what do you mean?
So there's so many elements to changing your self-image overall. A good mentor of mine would always say, you are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. So when it comes to changing your self-image, it's all about recreating yourself. It's recreating your identity. It's elevating your standards. And we don't get what we want. We get what's a must in our lives, not what's a should. So when it comes to just overall, just rebranding yourself, what do you think about? You think about someone who is elevating the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, the environments that they frequent. You're thinking of someone who is around higher quality of people who are going places. So when it comes to self-image overall, it's just so important to really have a vision for who you want to be, how you want to be, and the type of lifestyle that you ultimately want to live.
You know, there's this old school saying you can't change the spots on a leopard. And I don't really believe that to be true. As I grow older in life, I do think that people, if they look from within, truly can change who they are. It can be on the inside, their character, and it can be on the outside of like how they present themselves.
Yes, most definitely. Well, you think about it biologically, every 7 years, every cell in your body just changes. So naturally, you're going to just change at the human level in your body and everything. But when it comes to just your mindset overall, you can be renewed with your mindset. You can be renewed with just the way that you look at your life, your perspective, your standards. Again, it just goes back to what's a must in your life and what is absolutely essential for you. And when you make a decision to just elevate, for example, the types of restaurants that you eat. I remember when I personally made that decision in my own life, and it was just night and day, and I just made that decision in a moment. The word decide, its original meaning means to cut off or kill off. So when it comes to making a decision, you basically decide to cut off the old you, the old version of you, and open up space for the new you and who you want to create for the future.
I'm just curious, when you made the decision to stop eating at some places and then the other, what did that look like?
Yeah, so I remember when I just made a decision that I was going to live in a space of abundance. The way that I lived, the environments that I went to, I just would pay even extra money just to be in those environments. And what you find is you're naturally going to get around a certain caliber of people. The food is better. The environments are just overall better. You're thinking, the way that you see yourself ultimately starts to change. And that's the idea, to really see yourself as a high-value man or high-value woman. And when you make that identity shift, things just naturally start to change. The people that start to gravitate towards you and the opportunities that you start to gravitate towards, all of those things start to change when you just make that decision that your standards are going to be elevated.
I think that's interesting because people might be watching and be like, well, I can't afford to go to a better restaurant. A lot of times, you know, my husband and I have this rule of thumb. If I can make it better at home, we're going to eat home. And then when we go out for an experience. And like you say, that experience has you meet the right chef, the right person sitting next to you at the bar. You're kind of like creating your own destiny.
Definitely. Even the idea of looking at the menu from right to left. I remember years ago, you look at the menu when you're in college, you're looking at the price of every single thing, and maybe you might get the salad or the chicken, right? And I remember when I also made that adjustment of asking for the best thing on the menu or what's the most popular item on the menu, and just going from a lack mindset to an abundance mindset rather than thinking about the price every single time. It really just did something to my mindset to start to look at what I genuinely wanted to eat, and just the ambiance overall. It's so important just for your overall well-being.
And you say that same mindset can be used when it comes to leveling up the network of people that we surround ourselves with.
Yes, so there's a saying that goes like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Typically, you're going to be the average of the people that you spend the most time with, from your health to your relationship to financially, every area of your life. So when you think of someone who levels up in their lives, typically you're thinking about the types of friends that they're now around. You know, so it has to do a lot with opportunities. So if you're on the golf course, you're going to be a lot more likely to come across better opportunities, people who are involved in bigger things. And that's the idea more than anything, is to get around people who ultimately have what you want out of life. You should never take advice from people you would not be willing to trade places with. So when you look at your inner circle or the people that you associate with the most, are they in a space that you would definitely like to be in their life, whether it be financially or their marriage or their spirituality? And I just believe wholeheartedly that you are ultimately the company that you keep.
Yeah, we have seconds left, but I'm sure this goes without saying, but you truly believe everything in our lives begins up here with our mindset.
Most definitely. It really, really does. Your mindset is where your mind sits, as they oftentimes say. And when it comes to your mindset, it can truly just take you to places you never could imagine. Your attitude will also determine your altitude in life. It's that kind of thing. So start with the mindset and everything else will change.
Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Gayle.
All right, we're going to share Josh's story on BloomTampaBay.com. And when we come back, Dr. Carlos Garcia is here. And we are deep diving into the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It has made a resurgence of sorts. Bloom will be right back. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom's Level Up Edition. The old school Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is still a go-to for younger adults who are trying to make it in this world. Joining us now to help you effectively use the tools in this iconic book is clinical psychologist Dr. Carlos Garcia. Dr. Carlos, it is always so great to see you.
So good to be back, Gayle.
We're going to have a trivia question in just a minute about when this book first came out, so I won't spoil it for you, but it's been out for many, many moons, but it's still a go-to. Why do you think that is?
It's a classic. I think it has some of the sort of intuitive and common sense ways that one can learn to manage interpersonal relationships. And I think when we come to those sort of traditional tools and those intuitive things that are, again, they seem common sense, but sometimes things in the world aren't so common, right?
Yeah, especially now where we've lost a lot of connectivity with one another. You know, the digital age was not around when this book was written. So what qualities do we gravitate to in each other and ourselves?
Yeah, I think that's an important question. When we're thinking about how do we win friends, how do we influence people, well, what are the kinds of traits and qualities that other people have that make us feel that warm and cozy feeling on the inside, right? Is it because they're good listeners? Is it because they're loyal? You know, I think that sort of like what you mentioned, because we've lost so much of that one-on-one connection over time, we're like desperately seeking it now. We yearn it from this very deep place within us. If you think about it, we're social beings, right? We're social creatures. We come into this world needing connection. And so from our very earliest age and our very earliest days, we know that the thing that's most important to us is to connect with another human being. So building these relationships are important, and I think this book has so many powerful tools that can help people to know what's powerful, what helps me engage in a relationship where people are going to like me and where I'm going to like other people.
And one of the key tools in this book, which I love, is just kindness. And for so many, that's been thrown out the window.
Yeah. You know, I was just chatting with a friend earlier this week. I have in my wallet a little piece of paper that I got from a fortune cookie about 10 years ago. And it said, your kindness will lead to your success. And that is literally my mantra, Gayle. I have tried to live a life of kindness, always leading with kindness. And I think that's how I've become such a person in my life that's allowed to influence people, that it's helped me in my leadership abilities. There's a great quote by Maya Angelou that says, people may forget what you say, they may forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I think that comes back to kindness. When we treat other people with kindness, they feel warm, their defenses go down, and we engage in a conversation and an interaction that's much more powerful than if we're constantly wanting to throw egos at each other. And what I mean by that is like, let me tell you about this thing. Let me tell you, you know, we're always trying to trump each other.
Right.
But I think when we can show kindness, listen to each other, it's a very different thing. People really gravitate to that almost from an unconscious place.
Another tool in the book, be the person you want others to be for you, lead by example.
Totally. You know, we get so caught up in this idea of, and sometimes this may come from the environments that we grew up in, but our tendency is to see or sort of feel out what the other person needs us to be and then try to be that. And that's not authenticity. So a lot of us need to learn to just be our authentic selves, that if someone doesn't like us, that's not a matter of what's going on with us, but a matter of what's going on with them. Like, I think I'm a pretty good human. I come from a place of love and compassion. If you don't like me, that's your problem, not mine, right?
Yeah, but I wish more people could have that healthy outlook. I am not one of them. I'm one of those, like, you don't like me? Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And I focus more on that than, you know, the incredible relationships I do have. Why do you think we do that?
Yeah, well, think about it. It has a lot to do with our childhood development, right? And as we're developing as children, we're looking out at the world around us. And we want to be liked because we feel good when we're validated. We feel good when people like us, when they appreciate us, and when they give us that sort of social comfort. So what may happen for a lot of us is as we're growing up, again, we learn to assess the environment. What does the group need? What does this person need? And then we adjust to it. Right? And so then we become these adults and we're like chameleons. We try to adjust to what everyone needs from us. But the better thing to do is to be ourselves. If there's some people that don't like it, then they're not aligned with our values anyway. And we don't need people like that in our lives. But what you will notice and what people out there will notice is that when we are living authentically, it will pull the people that are like us into our group.
And those are really the only people that matter.
Absolutely.
All right, well, it's been a great time talking about this iconic book. It's been around and it's resonated throughout the generations. Thank you so much, Dr. Carlos.
Thank you, Gayle.
All right, we're going to share Dr. Carlos' story on BloomTampaBay.com. And right after the break, communication and confidence coach Karen Donaldson joins us with why building a healthy confidence is a pillar of leveling up. But first, it is time for today's Bloom Trivia question. When was the book How to Win Friends and Influence People originally published? 1936, 1968, or 1997? We'll have the answer later on Bloom.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology just $347. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology, many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $347. Plus, we'll add a portable charging dock and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $347 and free shipping. Call now.
800-854-2435. Again, that's 800-854-2435.
Living the Tampa Bay lifestyle means enjoying the sand, sun, and outdoors fun. So get out, get active, and nurture those healthy habits. Hey there, I'm Gayle Guyardo, host of Bloom. Now there's a new all-inclusive place with everything you need to shape your lifestyle, boost your health, and improve your wellness. BloomTampaBay.com. Tampa Bay's premier health and wellness website, made to help you feel good. Whether you're a fitness fanatic, beauty buff, or just want to take your first step towards positive change, this free website is for you. See the Bay Area's hottest fitness products, the latest workout crazes, and learn nutrition tips from the experts. Plus, discover local events and experiences designed with your well-being in mind. Cultivate a healthy mind, body, and soul. Check out BloomTampaBay.com, your local health and wellness website. That's BloomTampaBay.com. Welcome back to Bloom. Building a healthy confidence is a pillar of leveling up in life. Our next guest is a certified neuroscience-backed peak performance coach for NFL athletes, comedians, red carpet broadcasters, and business executives around the world, Karen Donaldson. Karen, it is so great to see you again.
Nice to see you as well, Gayle.
I think it's so cool that you work with people that are in the limelight. And I think a lot of times people just assume that if you're in front of a camera, if you're talking to people all the time, that comes easy. But a lot of times you can choke yourself up and really hold yourself back.
It is so true. That's the assumption that they were born that way. And the truth is, they put intentional work because things can happen. So you want to know how to go into the situation and how to respond if things actually go left as well.
So define what leveling up looks like for you, unassociated with anyone else's opinions. You say that's really what we need to focus on.
It really is, because we often say, okay, I'm ready for my next level. What do I need to do? And instead of looking inside and asking ourselves, how do I define leveling up? We look at someone else who's doing something really great, and we start to create our standards based on theirs. I want people to pause, define what leveling up means for you, what does it look like, and then take steps to meet what your definition of leveling up actually looks like.
And speaking of steps, what are the first 3 steps that we should be looking at when it comes to leveling up?
Really good question. You want to ask yourself this: what 3 things do I actually have control over? So say my leveling up is, okay, I did a new course, I'm going to apply for a new job. You want this new job that looks really far away. Ask yourself, break it down. What can I do? So do I have the qualifications? Do I have someone who knows who's doing the hiring? You're really looking at the first 3 steps that you can take, that you have control over, and you want to take the first step in the next 24 hours. Momentum breeds momentum.
And you say it's important to choose with intention. What do you mean by that?
We often get caught up in going with the flow of what our environment says we should do, or what the group of people we're around say we should do. I want you to intentionally choose every single time. Ask yourself, what's best for me? Not what's best for my partner, no matter how much we care about people around us, what's best for me? So always choose and ask yourself the question, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? Instead of leaning into what everyone else wants to do.
Now, this next one I find to be very interesting. Every day you believe we should be doing something that makes us feel uncomfortable.
We should indeed. You see, we can be stuck in a state of fear, and we don't get past that until we walk through it. So now when we take steps every single day, even if they're small ones, that make us uncomfortable, we start to build our courage muscle. And the truth of the matter is this, and my coach always tells me this: Karen, success does not actually take time, it takes courage. And the more courageous you are, you'll find that you'll be able to show up with more confidence in more situations.
This next one is one I find very interesting, because way back in the day when I first started my career anchoring and now hosting, I would have news directors say, or consultants say to me, find people that inspire you. Don't mimic them. Don't try to become them, but find people that you can kind of resonate with and learn from them. Do you believe that to be true as well?
I truly believe it to be true. And I like what you just said a while ago, Gayle. You want to find people who you inspire, who you resonate with. And I don't want you to become them. And that's the key. A lot of the time people replicate those people. And no one needs another, I'll just say, Oprah Winfrey in the world. They need a you in the world. So you're looking for them for inspiration, not duplication or replication.
All right, I just want to tread a little bit lightly into the dating world. Leveling up and confidence really can help a lot when you're trying to find that perfect someone.
Oh, it really is. And when it comes to leveling up in dating, I always tell people to pause and reassess what's working and what's not working, right? And if what you're doing isn't working, here's how you level up. It's easy. Stop doing it. Try something different. I mean, I have a friend who's been going to bars for years, and she lets me know that the quality of men really suck, Karen. So what I said to her is, you like bars, got it. Instead of going 3 times per week, go once a week and try something different for the other 2 times. Change what's not working.
And that in itself will help you find that happiness.
It really will. You start to change and just reassess your expectations that you have of other people. You stop comparing them to other people. And when you look at things differently, you'll see different things as well.
We have 30 seconds left, but you say you should, before you start any of this, ask yourself if you're really committed to the process.
You got it. A lot of people say I'm ready to date, but they refuse to leave their house. It's not going to happen. Do something different to get different results. So are you committed? Then stop doing what you've done to stay single.
Karen Donaldson, as always, it's such a pleasure to see you.
Nice to see you as well, Gayle.
We're going to post Karen's story on bloomtampabay.com, and when we come back, teen life coach Desiree Panlilio is here with her new book on making friends. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bloom. There are so many ways to level up in your life. As parents, we can help our kids do that by helping them find the right peer group. Joining us now is the author of One Friend, Two Friends, Bad Friend, Good Friend, A Teen's Guide to Creating Lifelong Friendships. Desiree Panlilio, it is great to see you.
It is great to be here, Gayle. Thanks for having me.
So we just had Dr. Carlos Garcia on, and we were talking about how there's been kind of like a resurgence of people wanting to read the old school Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you're out with a book that dedicates it to our teens, and really learning these skills at a young age is really invaluable.
It is. It's really important to learn these skills of how do you make a friend? What's a good friend? What's a bad friend? Where do you find friends? And our teens are kind of looking as they're trying to navigate that and figure it out. Because if you think about it, when they're little, we're finding their friends as a parent. We're not letting them, our 2-year-old run off and try and make friends. It's usually our friends that we've, found in a play group, and the kids are the same age, and that's how we kind of have them come together. But teenagers, they're off exploring. They're trying to figure out who are their friends and what are their friends and who should be a friend.
And historically, kids have always wanted to fit in or be cool or run with a certain group. But I'm starting to see, and I'm really proud of this, I'm starting to see even a shift with my own daughters that doesn't really matter. What really matters in life is that you're with quality people, because if you're not and you're just trying to follow and be one of the gang, you might find yourself doing things that you shouldn't be doing.
Exactly, and I love that that's the trend. Kids are starting to be like, who's like me? Who do I want to be around? And it starts with understanding their values. What's important to them? What are they interested in? And they want to gravitate to those people. But you're right, years ago it used to be who's the cool kids, who's the popular kids, whatever it takes, I'm going to be in with them. And there's still some of that. But luckily I feel like we're having those conversations where you don't have to be that kid. And those kids aren't so plentiful anymore. A lot of them are finding their place, The kids that, used to be the popular ones, such as the athletic kids, they're not, being those mean athletic kids that you picture in the 60s or 70s. They're being those encompassing kids. They could be, the quarterback of the football team and a straight A student. We're seeing that it's coming together more, that we're embracing everything about the person, not just one part of them.
Yeah, it's good to see the mean girls and the original Karate Kid type gang part of the pack. You talk a lot about empathy and the importance of our children learning that.
It's huge. It's a big thing to learn, and empathy is a learned skill. We think that we should be born with empathy, but we're not. It's something we work on. And parents often say, how do you tell your teen to be empathetic? I'm like, ask them, how can I help? That's a big thing when you're thinking about empathy. When your teen's being empathetic to someone, is how can I help and not be sympathetic? And you think about, hey, I see you didn't get an A in algebra. How can I help you? What can I do? How can I help you navigate that? That shows empathy instead of saying, I'm sorry I got an A and now I'm going to go out and play football, right? It's that empathy, and our teens got to learn that, and it's by telling them to say, how can you help? What's the next step beyond I'm sorry?
And you also say our teens need to learn to compromise.
They do, and boy, that's hard. That's hard for some adults, right? Teens want to be right. They want it their way. They want it now. They don't want to wait. And we need to teach our teens to wait, to stop, to pause, to figure out what is that compromise. You want to go one place, I want to go to another place. Do we find a different place to go, or do we compromise and go to your place this week, my place next week? And it's hard, and we need to have those conversations with our teens and teaching them that compromise is part of the world, it's part of relationships. It's not just my way or no way.
Desiree, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to post Desiree's story on bloomtampabay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-925-8035. That's 800-925-8035.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call me right now. The IRS is the most relentless collection agency in America. They have the power to legally take everything you own. Home, paycheck, autos, any asset you have. So what do? Call me now. My team of experts can help you keep your money. We have programs that can significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe, even payment plans that now stretch out for months. We can also stop collection calls, wage garnishments, and remove tax liens. So if you owe the IRS a lot of money and you want to keep it, don't wait. Call the tax man right now.
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
It's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. When was the book How to Win Friends and Influence People originally published? 1936, 1968, or 1997? The answer is 1936. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a 1936 self-help book written by Dale Carnegie. Over 30 million copies have been sold worldwide, making it one of the best-selling books of all times. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We'll help you use mind over matter to quit those bad habits. And meet the author of How Money Works for Women, who has tips to help you level up your finances. Stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by LinFit Nutrition.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.